Greetings, greetings, greetings. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. How y'all doing today? I hope that everybody is doing well on this last day of November. Tomorrow we go into a new month and we go into a new week. Tell the Lord thank you. Yes. We constantly think about the new year coming in, but to me, the new year for you is your birthday. That's when you're actually starting a new year. And I know that, we have to find that, well, way, 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 way back before I was even thought of. My mama, probably even my grandma, her grandmama was even thought of. They had to come up with a calendar, how to mark the years so we can know, what year it is. So that's January is that marking of the year. So for a lot of us, it just continue on into the same thing. Well, for some companies, the new fiscal year start. I'm gonna get on into commentary, y'all. Y'all hang on. Go ahead and hit that like button and drop on down and say hello to me and all of that. But it starts a new physical year, and your benefits starts over, and they determine your little raises and things, and you get your little bonuses and things. If you work that type of job, some of y'all get it quarterly, some of us get it yearly. But that's what the new year. So I guess the new year do mean something. It do mean something. We're going into another year. Folks be acting like new year, new you, and new year, spectacular things gonna happen. But I guess you could set goals for yourself. But I always say, go into that year doing those goals because they claim that however you go into the new year, that's how you're going to go continue throughout the year. So whatever it is that you want to do going into the next year already started. But anyway, that's my little spiel on that. I see 14 people watching. I don't know how many likes I have. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Where are my notes at? Where are my notes at? I had to write a few notes. I have some unsolicited opinions. I'm a little sober. I'm a little bit more sober today than I was when I talked to y'all last night. It wasn't that I wasn't sober. It wasn't that I wasn't sober last night, but it was that I was feeling a little okay. But and I'm not. Y'all know I don't like to go over the same thing over and over and over again. Uh, you know, uh, Larry Reed and Bishop Jordan, they saw each other down there at the mall. We got each side. We got, we heard Bernard Jordan's side, mostly from St. James. And I hate that St. James couldn't go live today. I seen that he attempted to go live. I don't know why YouTube won't let him be great. YouTube, loose here and let his lives come on through. And then we heard the other side, basically directed from Larry on Thais' show. So that's that. That's that. We just got to take what they said because we wasn't there. We actually get to hear it for ourselves. We wasn't there, and that's that. Now, talks. How you doing, sugar? To my understanding, we going to get an interview from perhaps William tonight, Sunday Night Live. We'll all be looking forward to that. I hope he don't go live too late for those of us who got to go to work. We got to go to work down. We got to do our 9 to 5 down at the fishing. What you said, Thais? Down at the fishing pier or the fish restaurant or wherever it was you said that we worked. But we got to go down there and do our job. I used to have a buddy. I actually used to be his moderator. He used to call us First Alerts. Touch This Color Love. He used to tell folks that he worked at the McDonald's. And it was people who really thought that he worked at the McDonald's, and because he tell us that he worked at the McDonald's. And it used to tickle me. YouTube was hating on me this morning. They were hating hard. I said, look at YouTube. Why you won't let him be great? We want to get this. Hey, Bourbon Bubblegum. Now I wish I was in a place where I could take care of mine and you up right now, but I'm working off my phone, but I might get to it before we end this live if you're still here. But yeah, I was like, why they won't let St. James be great? We wants to hear what he's got to say. We wants to hear it this morning. Oh God. But hopefully, St. James be able to go live later. William may be able to go live later. Y'all know I enjoy all y'all. I enjoy all y'all. I enjoy y'all shadiness and your pettiness. I enjoy when you're serious, when you put it out good. I enjoy it all. What did I say we were going to miss? I missed what you said. Are we going to miss? Oh, I was saying I need to mod you up. I think that's what I was saying, but I can't do it from my phone here on this thing that I ain't got much time left on. So let me get to what I'm gonna say before StreamYard cut me off, because y'all know I'm be trying to pay them. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna start with is this complaint over begging. I was over there looking at Tim, and y'all know Tim can't stand begging, and it's not just Thais. It's Jay Wilson. How he said he don't say Jay Wilson Wilson. He say Wilson Whell. Jay Wilson. We Oh, he was talking about folks. He was saying why folks be hating. He said some folks work a 9 to 5. I think he said at the fish restaurant or something like that. I think that's what he said. He worked at the fish restaurant or something like that. Thais be giving me a good tickle. But so I've always said that I did not understand why people worry about what others have, what others get, what others receive, what others give out. That's something I don't understand. However, it ain't for me to understand. It's not for me to understand, and I'm sure there are some things that bothers me that other people can't understand. I hate when people use God as a weapon to fight. I can't stand that. I can't stand it. And there's other things that bothers me, and I'm sure other people. So I'm not, putting down folks who it bothers them when they feel like other people are asking for money or other people are sending them money. Me personally, y'all ain't gonna know what I get in cash app. So folks, if y'all be sending me cash apps for me to announce it, um, more than likely I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna say thank you, but I ain't gonna announce what I get. I ain't gonna announce what I get, because sometimes what bragging gets you is people believing you don't need nothing. How about that? I hear people talk about money and bragging what they got. I said, well, that's one less person that need anything from me. And that's the truth before God. That's exactly how I think about it. I said, that's one less person that needs anything from me. That's the way I think about it. So it doesn't bother me. Um, but it tends to get under some folks, not all folks, some folks skin. And that's not just here in this churchy sector, around this sector. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, anywhere. I know that's a big, huge thing in the beef sector. And they talk about people begging. We tired of you begging, begging, begging. We heard Spill It Boy TV, Trezar, talk about it. He's done videos about it among other people. Um, yeah, that's, I find it unnecessary to announce it. Like, you know, um, that's why, and then that's why those of you who have received anything from me, you'll notice that I send it after you're live, because I don't necessarily want you to announce it in the live. Because again, I don't want folks to think I'm that cash cow either. I don't want nobody to think I'm a cash cow. And like I said, you go on too bad about it, folks might think like me. Well, that's less person that need anything from me. So I'm gonna come back to that bragging. In Tim's chat today, I gave an opinion. Like I said, today I'm more sober. Not that I wasn't sober last night, but today I'm more here. And I gave an opinion in Tim's chat last night, and it was this: I don't think Larry needed to give an explanation of why he no longer wanted Bishop Bernard Jordan to be his mentor. I think him keeping it to himself and not having that conversation was his choice. And I don't necessarily think anything was wrong with it. I don't like, or I wouldn't like, if somebody back away from me and I didn't know it. But once I catch the hint somebody's backing away, I just back away too. So I don't think that he really was necessarily wrong not to have that conversation. But hold on, for y'all, hold on. I don't think he was necessarily wrong, and he certainly didn't owe us an audience. any explanation. However, at the same time, Bishop Jordan had every right to voice his feelings about it to whomever he wanted to voice his feelings about it to, public or private. And again, we don't know. And according to Bishop Jordan, he didn't know why Larry backed up. Maybe Larry didn't want to talk to him about it because he wasn't sure why he wanted to back up. Maybe he wasn't ready or able to express how he feel. We don't know. Who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to. I have backed up away from folks and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to explain it. I just didn't want to be friends no more. I just didn't want to be friends no more. For me, it ran its course. It was a chore. And I'm not saying that was the case for Larry. I'm just saying that in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and my opinions ain't always got to be right, that he didn't have to. But having said that, you can't tell a person how to feel about it, and you can't tell a person how to act on their feelings because of the fact that you did not talk to Bishop Jordan about the fact that you wanted to back up on the mentorship. You didn't express your feelings to him. Then that left him open to making assumptions, because what else could he do? Speculate what the reason was. And again, you couldn't tell him who and what to talk to and how to talk to him. Like, how are you going to say, well, you went and talked, you shouldn't have got on here and said this and said that. Well, I mean, you left it there open to that. I think you could have said that if you had a conversation with him, he shared the conversation. But, we always okay with what we do, but we don't like what the next person do. But we don't consider what we did. And I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm just saying, if it was okay for you to back away without a conversation, surely it's okay for him to talk about it with whomever he wanted. It's not, it's not old, but don't volunteer lies. Yeah, yep. Barbara Bubblegum, what you laughing at? What are you laughing at, girl? What you laughing at? You probably behind him in the chat sitting up here laughing about something I said 5 minutes ago. So that was, I wanted to express my feeling on that and what I was trying to say in Tim's chat. Hurt feelings is hurt feelings are a human reaction. And we can all act like we're cold as ice and we're non-emotional and all of that, but that just make you not human. And I will never claim to be not human. I am a human being with normal, regular emotions. I'm not cold, narcissistic, or anything like that. Oh, okay. Okay. He said, don't ask. Okay. All right. So back to bragging. Now, to me, bragging doesn't mean that someone looks down on other people, and it doesn't automatically make someone a bad person because they brag. I have been accused myself of bragging, actually, here on this apparatus, as Quiney call it. I have been accused of bragging when all I was trying to do was encourage people to travel. I was just trying to, to get people to travel. That's all I was doing. But people have, I made it very plain that anything that I've obtained or anything that I got, anybody can get it, but people take it any kind of way. So it doesn't automatically make someone a bad person. But there is a stigma behind bragging. There's obviously a stigma. What? I didn't have a Tesla. Okay, I don't want to go back and explain that. The guy I was dating actually had a Tesla, and I know y'all seen it. Y'all seen that whole live in the garage when me and Sir King and I was standing. Yeah, that wasn't mine. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Actually, I didn't even like that car. We used to travel. I hated that car because he used to like to put that sucker on automatic. I didn't like that car. But yeah, yeah. Hush. You know me too well. But and even in that, I wasn't bragging. I was, if you remember Bourbon Bubblegum, I was actually at an event. Sir King said something to me to make me mad. I had to get him got right there, and I went and hid in the garage. That's how that went down. Yeah, it was. And then when they found out what I did drive, it still didn't make it. Still didn't make it no better. It didn't make it no better. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. Okay. I was provoked. Yeah. So I was hiding out in the garage going on. But anyway, and here's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. That is another reason. There is many reasons why I turn my camera off. I turn my camera off. And I used to have my camera on, but people gonna say this, people gonna say that. And look, I don't think, like I said, I don't think bragging doesn't mean that someone look down on others, and it doesn't automatically make someone a bad person who don't care about others' achievements. So that goes both ways. The person who is looked upon as bragging, that don't make them a bad person. And the person who really don't care for it, it doesn't mean that they don't like other people's achievements. It doesn't mean that at all. Let me just use an example. I love examples. Let me use an example. Years ago, when my kids were still in high school, my baby girl was in junior high. My oldest girl was in high school. My son was in high school. I used to brag on my kids a lot. I'm a mother. I'm proud of my kids. And I used to brag on my kids a lot. My kids used to get perfect attendance. My kids used to get straight A's. They stayed on the honor roll. They was constantly getting, constantly going to the little, where you have to go down to I forgot the place, the gym where they was, celebrating kids and all of this. So of course I go to work. Back when I was growing up, your kids make good grade. You go down. My mom and them went down they took your report card down to the job and showed it. Maybe that's a Southern thing. But you talk about your kids and you celebrate it and stuff like that. But I remember one time I was talking about my oldest daughter, she was getting all of these acceptance letters. And I said one time, I said, oh, these acceptance letters is coming with money, with, scholarships. And I remember a look that I got from a coworker. We were at an event, and I looked, kind of glanced over at a coworker, and I remember a look that I got from a coworker. It wasn't a nice look. They literally rolled their eyes up like this again. And it hit me. Okay, maybe I'm bragging on my kids too much in this setting. So I eased up on it. Now, ironically, now this person's kids are graduating high school and they're bragging a lot. I mean, a lot. And guess what? And I'm celebrating with them because I celebrate other people's achievements. I celebrate with folks. So it doesn't bother me that they're doing it, but it is ironic. But the same person who, rolled their eyes up at me is the same person now that we're celebrating their child achievements. I remember when my parents, at one point, both my parents used to work at the same place, and they would drive. They had it wasn't a Gran Torino. They had my parents used to trade cars. They were car whores when I was younger. They still kind of is. They still love it. They still love a good car. But when I was younger, they would drive this Oldsmobile Cutlass, an older one, to work. They would ride to work together, and they would ride. They would never drive the new car. They had a brand new car. They wouldn't drive that car to work. They would drive that Oldsmobile. And one time that sucker wasn't working. And my daddy he said, I'm going to have to park it up the street, because he felt like people were going to, he didn't want their job. He didn't want their positions affected because, of this type vehicle they have. So there's a whole stigma that goes behind people having and bragging and what people think about it and how they feel about it and how it make people feel. I don't really understand it, but there's a whole, even when you Google it, there's a whole study. They do studies on this. The only bragging I don't like is ignorant, what I call ignorant type bragging. What's ignorant bragging? When you bragging on other people's stuff. What you bragging on other folks' stuff for? Like, you live in a house and that house ain't yours. I guess it's yours while you rent it, but it ain't yours. And even that don't bothers me as much as when people go to certain hotels. What you bragging on them folks' hotels for? You ain't dragging none of that stuff out of there with you. You've been making whoever it is, you're making Trump Towers richer. Or whoever owns it. You don't know whether them people are Magna or MAGA. You don't know whether they're, for you or against you. And you going in their stuff, paying a whole bunch of money and bragging on other folks' stuff, and you think you flexing before others. To me, that don't bothers me because you're there and because you afford it. It bothers me because you could own it yourself. You could own it yourself. I remember one time we was at this particular, some years ago, we was at this place. We used to love to go to Myrtle Beach. We don't much no more. I've been going to Myrtle Beach all my life. But we was at Myrtle Beach, and my daughter was putting it on one of the social medias. I can't remember which one it was, but she was putting it on the social media because we were there. And I said something to her about it. I said, "Girl, stop bragging on these other people's stuff." And she made a joke. She said, "Daddy can buy this. It'd be ours." And what she say that for? And her daddy said, "I sure can. I sure will." Well, if she brag on it now, she ain't bragging on other folks' stuff. What you say? They have been studies. There have been studies showing BMW drivers are the most aggressive drivers. I wonder if that study has been updated. That was over 10 years ago. Child. I was going to say something about BMWs, but I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. That's not my favorite type of car. But yeah. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I just noticed that around the YouTube streets, regardless of who sector you go in, is a whole lot of it. I'm not really impressed by bragging. I don't think, like, again, when I used to talk about my kids, I was just proud of them. I was just very, very, very proud of them. I was a proud mother. Uh-oh. I ain't talking about nobody Beamer. I ain't talking about nobody's Beamer, and I ain't gonna talk about nobody's Lexus. But we all know what the superior car is. I'm just teasing. I'm just being. Listen, I'm in my competitive mood today. It's football. Today is football day, so I'm in a competitive mood. But I'm in a competitive mood. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Listen. Look at all the BMW people coming for me. Look at all of look at all them BMW people coming for me. Mm-hmm. Listen. Once you drive what I got, you ain't going back to no BMW. I'm just teasing. A car is a car. A car is a car, and it's whatever you're comfortable in, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you've gotten used to. If it's gonna get you, look how these the BMW folks is coming for me. They're coming for me. Look at them coming for me. Come through, Porsche. Come through, Porsche. Mm-hmm. My good friend. That was her dream car for years. And she got one. But I think she ended up selling it. See, Sean tell us you have a Beamer without telling us you have a Beamer. Okay. That's all right. Listen, drive whatever it is that you enjoy. I'm in danger, I know. Drive whatever it is that you enjoy. Cause that's sure enough what I'm gonna do. That's sure enough what I'm gonna do. If I can afford it and I can drive it, I'm gonna drive it. Sure is. And I like, well, anyway, moving right along. So yeah, I don't know whether the feeling is always necessarily jealousy. It could, it definitely could be. That word, I think that is way overused. I think it's so much overused. Just way overused. I remember, I'm gonna sell this and I'm gonna move on to my next thing. I remember one time when I first started traveling a lot. It was a young lady that I've known the young lady since she was a little girl. And my sister used to date her brother years ago, and then we just we just kind of stayed in touch with the family and this little girl, and she's a grown woman now. I think she's about 10 years younger than me. And she said one time that she said, "I wish I had your life. You just do this and do that." And I told her, "Don't say that. Thank you for becoming a member. Who that is? Hey, Jaded Heart. Thank you for becoming a member, sugar." And I told her, I said, "Don't say that. Don't say that." I said, because you don't know. You might see me in my travels. You might see me, because of course I'm not coming on Facebook and show y'all when I'm crying. Although that's a thing now to come on social media and just look in the camera and just cry. But that's not me. But that doesn't mean I don't have no hardship. So the things that I go through may break you down and kill you. You know what I'm saying? And the things that she may go through may break me down and kill me. Traveling may be my outlet from something that I was going through. So I always say, don't never wish for somebody else's life, because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what's behind the scenes. And I don't make no secret behind that. But yeah, the whole bragging thing is interesting. It's interesting to see. And it's not just from, like I said, from the church sector. It's not just from what I've seen with what's going on basically with Tim and Thais as an example. Like I said, I see it over there in the beef sector. I see it in other sectors that I may visit, where somebody might think that someone is constantly asking their people for money. I see it like this. Google have so much more money than most of the subscribers that watch me. And I have some subscribers that watch me. And people, let me say this, people assume that folks in the beef sector um, are not educated or whatever. The beef sector is just a place to kind of lay your hair down. In the beef sector, you actually have attorneys. We know, I can name off a chick right now that everybody would know. She is an attorney. We obviously know of somebody that got 8 degrees. How many degrees Jay Wilson got? About 8. That includes his master's and his PhD. He's a doctor. PhD doctor, that is. We have all types of college graduates, all people with all types of professions over in the beef sector. So it's just, like I said, it's just a place. You have a place you go to lay your hair down. And then you have people who don't have a profession, or don't work, or do work and may work a blue collar job, or whatever. But whatever it is, listen, whatever it is, that's your blessing. That's your blessing. It's but by the grace of God, that's all. I make a boast in the Lord, because if it wasn't for Him, it wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't be nothing. It wouldn't be nothing. And that's why, when I saw that it bothered somebody, I didn't assume why. I don't know to this day. Yeah, it's a melting pot. Exactly. It's a melting pot. Hey, CH, how you doing, sugar? Um, but to this day, I don't know why it bothered that coworker. But I eased off of it, because I didn't know, I eased up off of it. Because I don't want to make anybody else feel bad. I don't want to, pull myself up and look down on anybody. And that's not what I was doing. But, I'm just, in all of my messy and pettiness, I don't look to hurt nobody. I really don't. I don't look, I might want to hurt your feelings a little bit, but not a whole lot. You come for me, I might, hurt you a little bit, but I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live. Okay, so moving on. So I did want to say that to Thais, y'all know I'm full of opinions. I say names. Thais, it may not be your social media success. Now, we don't know what success you have outside of social media. We don't know. We have no idea. We can look at people, and especially if they turn their camera on, we can look at people and say, okay, they have this and they have that. But even in that, you don't know, because people in the beef sector for a while swore I had a Tesla. Okay, they swore I had a Tesla because they see me with one. But so we can assume what we think, but we don't know. So surely nobody's judging you by that. Timothy Blaine and I have known each other in real life. We meet at a church in 2004, and we have had meals together. He is my real life friend. I have read all of his books. Yeah, listen. I like Uncle Tim, honey. He gives me a good cackle. And I think that I don't think that he when he goes off, I don't think it's necessarily because he's jealous or hating. I think that he really do feel like he really do have a heart for people, kind of, and I really do feel like he feel like, I think he has a thing against making people feel bad about themselves, and I think that he feel like there are some people who that's their intentions to make people feel bad about himself, and I think that he's digged himself out of a situation, and he knows what it means, what it is to be down, and he knows what it is to be delivered. And I just think he have a heart for people. I think he have a heart for the underdog, and I think that's all it is. I could be wrong. Listen. My opinions. I ain't God, so I ain't know. So I can just go on what I think from what I see. Um, but I don't think that people are necessarily jealous of Thais' success. Um, I think Thais, I think you don't understand that you can get under people's skin. And I thought that you kind of knew that you were a little bit, but I think that you feel like people should just kind of shrug it off and take it with a grain of salt. Everybody's not able to do that. Everybody's just not able to do that. And so, you know, they come a different way. You are living the embodiment of that scripture. I'll put that up there, but I ain't gonna say nothing though. Um, and when I say you get under people's skin, even every now and then, I have to side eye you, Thais. I have to side eye you. Like when you say things like today, when you said, putting what you said 9 to 5. Like why are you putting down folk who work? Most of your chat, you brag about the fact that they work, and they talked about their different occupations, and a lot of them couldn't necessarily be 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? So, why is that a bad thing? Or, or you acting like other people can't be content creators because they choose not to be. And I do agree. And I've told you this many times, Thais. I've said this many times to you that I think that you are very talented. I think you're a talented guy. I don't go look at people because I don't think they're talented. You have to really hold my attention, because the reason why I come on social media to look at YouTube is because it entertains me. So I think that you're talented. But let me tell you this. Say this. There is this guy named Lemon. That's the handle he go by, Lemon. Lemon drinks. What's that he drink, y'all? What is that dessert wine? That cheese wine? Oh, what's the name of that wine? That liquor that Lemon drinks? It's a cheese wine and dessert wine. When they first started saying he was drinking it, I said, "You're drinking that? Ain't that a dessert wine?" But anyway, basically, Lemon sits up on his channel and gets drunk. And Lemon have over 800 people, maybe 1,000 people in his live nightly. Just a bunch of chaos, yelling, screaming, cussing, drink. Taylor Port. Thank you, Ox City. Taylor Port. Taylor Port. This man drinks Taylor Port, and he gets anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people in his chat nightly, sometimes in the middle of the night. How much talent do you need to be a content creator? This Joker showed his thing one time, his phone, which was ignorant to me, which was the dumbest thing. That was the dumbest thing that he could ever did. He showed his cash app, and he had, was it Ox City? Do you remember? Was it $10,000? Was it $11,000? I mean, he's probably one of the highest paid content creators, and this ninja literally 10 hours long. He sit online and drink Taylor Port and be drunk. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's all. If you got the time, if you got the time and the energy, and I'm not trying to put down anybody's gifting or anybody's, I'm not going to put it down, because they, like I said, folks, I enjoy. But if you got the time and the energy, You too can be a content creator and make good money and get good cash apps. You really can. It don't take you being smart. And I'm not trying to put down anybody, but I just came with my opinion. I just gave an example. And that's one. I can give another one if you need one. I can give another one if you need one. I can probably give 3 or 4 if you need one. It don't take much. It don't take much. You come out here, you make money. Um, yeah, no gift at all. So if somebody decides to be, and they got the good gift of gab, or they got that thing for people, then yeah, it can be done. I hope Lemon don't hear it if this don't get back to Lemon, because I ain't necessarily talking about Lemon and what I'm going to say, but any idiot can do it. And it's been proven over and over and over again, you know, but that doesn't take away from those who do it and they're successful at it and they bring good quality content. That doesn't take away from it. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, and I'm just saying. So when I hear people say stuff like that, I'm like, boo, if I step in the middle of the night, break out me some Ciroc and run this mouth of mine, I can run it up. I can run it up. But I just have other things that I choose to do right now. And the other things I choose to do right now is working at 9 to 5 down at the fish stove. Working at 9 to 5 down at the fish stove, because it's doing me pretty good. And it's doing me pretty good. And it's opening up doors for me to bring other people in to work at this fish stove. I have been blessed where I have been able to bring other folks. And I wish that YouTube wasn't set up in such a way that those of us who are in the position who can bless other people, it wasn't set up in such a way that it was such a risk for you to do that. I've taken that risk once, and it didn't. Thank God it didn't hit me in my face. But it was. I wish I could do it more. I wish I could do it more, but you can't. But offline, in my offline life, that's something I could do. So, and so I choose to keep it over there rather than over here. And because over here, really just coming on and talking about pop news or talking about church news or something is really when I do get it going. When I do get it going, along with which I'm going to get what's his name to help me, Jives, with the technology and filming and stuff. When I do get it going, it's going to be a whole different thing. It's going to be something I'm more interested in, and I'm kind of setting that up already. Yeah, I saw that. But look, but even in that, watch he raise up another one. Watch he raise up another, then the people gonna come on around running. That's just the way it is, And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you're not being invited to give YouTube roundtable feedback and be in the decision making group, you're not doing anything special on YouTube. No jealousy, period. And we know people in that position also. We definitely know people in that position also. Hey, Sugar. Hey, Sing. How you doing? Let's see. The biggest money maker on YouTube's are idiots and basement dwelling slackers. Those of us who have something to offer find it difficult to earn a living. I have stuff to do, and I don't. I'm pretty sure. I'm a whole lot sure that I could do it. I'm sure I could. I just don't put a lot of effort in. Bourbon Bubblegum knows very well, because she tell me you could do that. I'd be like, girl, I don't even try to do that right now. I ain't even trying. Consistency is the key, and that's the thing. I offer. I understand that consistency. I just ain't got it to give, but I enjoy everybody else who do have it to give. I enjoy Timothy Blaine. I enjoy St. James. I enjoy Sean Talks. I enjoy Thais. I enjoy, I can go on. The list is, I can go on and on. I enjoy Juice Radio. The list goes on and on and on of people that I want to listen to. Girl, hush. You know I ain't. Girl, they don't know. If they ain't seen it, they don't know. If they ain't seen it, they don't know. You know me, I'm gonna keep it like that. but but yeah, I think that, sometimes that's what it is, that you just kind of get under people's skin, and some people is just better at getting under people's skins than others. I have to watch myself, because I know I can really annoy folk. I know I can really say things that really kind of hit that nerve, hit that human emotions of hurting the feelings. You have to know who you are, because when you don't know who you are, and that's not a bad thing. Let's say it's a skill. You have to be careful with your skills and your gifting, because you can use that and it can get to people's human side. And then that's what they're angry about. You're thinking they're hating on you. No, they're not hating on you. It's just that human side. And I know Thais would say, well, why can they say things to me and I can't say things back to them? Well, you're right. I often say that. You say something to me, and then when I say something back to you, because my mind may have come harder and funnier, then now I got to be a bully. Now I done went too far. Now I'm too old to be acting like that. I understand that. I understand that feeling. I understand that, honey. Trust me, trust and believe. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. But it's just the way it is. It's human. It's human nature. It's human nature, and I understand it to be. What else? Oh, I want to give under my unsolicited opinions here. Oh, and this is the thing. See, this is why I like Thais. Thais said, and he said it before I was just like really behind on videos. But he said, "Look here, I'm gonna tell y'all something. If my channel go down, cause y'all out here flagging and turning me in and sending emails or cease and desist or whatever. He said, my channel go down, y'all channel going down. He said, if my channel go down, y'all channel going down. And Tim, I think he gonna get you first. I could be wrong, but I think he gonna get you first. But here's the thing: I don't think Tim would care. I think Tim cares as much about his channel as I care about mine, which is very little. I think he'll just start another channel or not, and I don't think he'll care. I really, there are some people who would really, really care. He's not one of them. I don't think that he would care. Let's see. Jada Hart says, as a transgender person, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, I think you're talking to me, and you're welcome. You're welcome. You must have heard some things that I've said before concerning the community, that if God can love me, he can show enough love y'all, and he can love us. So whatever that is, hopefully I'm glad that I'm able to say something that's inspiring. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, he said if his channel go down, everybody's channel going down. Everybody. He said he getting everybody. He gonna put papers on all y'all. I get that from and that thing, something about that. Y'all know I like some carrying on. Something about that tickles me. So y'all be careful, because he coming for it. He said it's going down. He even said in one live, he said, I'm gonna call the news folk. I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna put you out there. I said, oh Lord, oh God. Can y'all imagine Miss Cruz on the news? As much as I love attention, Uncle Tim would start a new channel all things. Right, it'll be Thais and Jay Wilson. He sure would. He would not care. It was the longest before you were like, Tim, turn your monetization on. Get your commercials going in between it. Tim didn't care nothing about that. He didn't care about anything about all that. You'll never hear him saying, I got this much subscribers. Other people will say, tell him to hit the like button. Hit the like. But Tim come on here to say what he got to say. He used his platform to say what he got to say, and that's it. I don't think he's really, he's more into his books and other things, and his collections. I would assume, but I don't know. I could be wrong. You can't be a person that make a living off YT going against a person that does not make a living off YT. That one that makes the living has the most to lose. Absolutely. 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 Because if it's something that's somewhat of a hobby, you know, Folks don't really care. They really don't care. They really, really honestly don't care. They don't. Um, if they ain't got a big following in the first place and they ain't got it going on, they probably don't care. They probably don't care. Recently, somebody sent me some old videos, and I was looking at some old. The videos went back to like 2016, 2017 of some people who were beefing back, 16, 17, 18 years ago, almost close to 10 years ago, these people beefing. And as I was looking at it, I said, look how vicious they were. I was thinking about how vicious they were going at each other in these videos, these people, back and forth, involving calling cops, calling CPS, going to court to get restraining orders out on each other. It was just vicious, back and forth. You do this, I'll do that. You do this, I'll do that. You do this. And I was watching it. And I said, the thing they arguing over ain't really got nothing to do with neither one of them. It wasn't even neither one of them's really fight. It was people having an opinion over something else that was going on. They was getting in it. And it ain't even had nothing to do with them when they was going at each other viciously. Then the people that it was really about, it was like, I started thinking, I said, those people kind of fade back. And now, move up to 2025, now the folks that they was really fighting over, whose business and beef it really was, they don't even come on YouTube no more. But these two people still on YouTube, they still don't like each other. Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? A lot of people were beefing over Kaya and T.S. Madison. Y'all remember that? Kaya and T.S. Madison broke up. Ironically enough, Buddha went to work for, who did Buddha went? Buddha continued working for T.S. Madison for a little while, I think. Ironically enough, Larry seemed like Larry was on the scene or had something to do with it. I could be wrong with their whole breakup, but that's neither here nor there. T.S. Madison and Kaya had this ugly breakup, and there was so many people who had an opinion that you have people to this day who don't like each other over T.S. Madison and Kaya breakup. Ain't have nothing to do with it. Ain't have no dogs in that fight. Ain't have no nickels in that dime. But they going at it because they taking sides over who's right and who's wrong. Crazy, ain't it? Getting vicious with each other over something that ain't got nothing to do with them. Listen, there was one time, and a particular person is still to this day is my friend that I took aside. I ain't know no better. But, and this person is still my friend, somebody who is dear to me in real life. But I said I won't do that again on in a social media setting ever again. So you're falling out with people over something that's really not your business, really not your beef, really not, not got nothing to do with you. Getting all upset, folks going at each other. And I'm looking at this now with this Larry and Bishop Bernard Jordan thing. And I keep thinking in my mind, now, do I have opinions on it? Absolutely. I have a lot of opinions on it. Unsolicited opinions. Opinions ain't nobody asked me for. I have opinions on it. But it's not really based on liking one or the other or thinking one is wrong and one is right. I wasn't with them and had no decision in them becoming mentor mentee. And wasn't there when they fell out. And had nothing in that. So when I'm gonna get all upset with somebody else, I ain't falling out with nobody over them, over no opinion, over none of that. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And I see a lot of that. And I don't even think people realize that they're doing that. They get emotionally invested in it. They get real upset with it. It's like, now I'm gonna take you to court. Now we gonna take each other's channel down. Now I'm gonna call the news people on. Now I'm gonna call your job. It's just, it's just too much. See, a few years ago, I was outed as a trans person by a cigar appreciating YouTuber, not the cigar blogger. Daryl Moore, they used to use the front of my home and address as a thumbnail. Wow. Wow. And here's the thing. The people who do that the most, the people who do that the most hate it when it's done to them. The folks who do that the most, I always say, stop putting out stuff you don't want back. You don't want it. You can't handle it when it come back. You ain't think about the repercussions. You ain't think about what's going to happen when it comes back on you. None of that. You know, people hate things done to them that they put out done to each other. And we all quote the scripture that God is not mocked. Hey, Catherine Powell, how you doing, sugar? We all quote the scripture that God is not mocked. Whatsoever thing that you sow, you shall also reap. I'm old country gal. I'm old country gal. I had a granddaddy used to plant stuff. I had an uncle who had a garden. I know how that whole thing works where you put something down into the ground and it grows. And it grows. And sometimes you could put a itty bitty seed down in the ground. Mustard seed. Y'all love the scripture. Yeah, faith is mustard seed. You put a little bit of the mustard seed is probably one of the smallest seeds that you can plant. That thing grows into a plant that's so big and so strong, it's hard to break. Now that's something positive. Put a little bitty seed down. But imagine if you put a negative itty bitty seed down and it grows up like that. Because it may not come back how you want it to come back. That's why I'm careful. Even in my being shady and petty, that's why I'm careful. Because I got folks I love that I think about. I'm like, you know, you won't see me put my mouth on nobody's children because I got children. Now I got a grandchild. Y'all see me, I was lightly trying to pick at the BMW, but I backed up. I backed up. I don't pick at somebody else's finances because it's by the grace of God. By the grace of God. That God has blessed me to do well and to be comfortable. It's by the grace of God. And I don't take that for granted. I love to tell the story of how I even went. Listen, y'all heard me. Those of you who know me well, y'all heard me. I tell this story before. I spent many years not working because my husband didn't want me to work because we didn't live near a family that could keep our kids. So he was like, I don't want my kids in daycare. You know, we don't live near family that can, you know, how you have auntie or that great grandma, you know, somebody like that to keep the kids. So we wasn't in that position. We was traveling far away from home. So I was a stay-at-home mother. And when my child went to kindergarten or first grade, I started working. And the job that I was supposed to take, the first job I got, I hated it. I hated that job. I hated that job. And they did things that I didn't really appreciate. And I put in my notice without even having a job. I didn't even have no other job. I said, I can't do this no more. And before my notice came up, before my last day came up, I got hired on the job that I happen to have right now. And the lady who hired me, may she rest in peace, she was supposed to hire me in a lesser position. Okay. Something about me, she liked me. Favor of God. Something about me that she liked me, and she was supposed to hire me in a lesser position, and she hired me in that higher position, and I didn't think nothing of it. I was just praising God. You know, us church folk. I was telling people, look, I done got hired on the job for somewhere. It was somewhere around between 12,000 and 13,000. I can't remember the exact amount because it was 19 years ago. $1,000 more than I was making on the job I had put in my notice for. God is so good. So it was the next year when I was up for a raise that I was told, well, it was an error that you in this position. You weren't supposed to get this position, so you can't get this raise. So the lady who did it on purpose, by mistake on purpose, she did it by mistake on purpose. She knew what she was doing by mistake on purpose. She said, yeah. She said, so that's where we are. When she was sitting down with me and we doing my one-on-one, she said, that's where we are. She said, now, if you want to complain about me, you can go to HR and complain about me because it ain't your fault that I made a mistake and get your raise. And I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, well, if I ain't supposed to be in this position, should I go complain about you? And she said again, if you want to go complain about me to HR, go down to HR. Go down to HR. She's telling me, go on down there and get your raise because, you know, I knew what I was doing. I'm about to retire. I'm about to be out of here. I've been here 37 years. I'm about to retire, be out of here. Anyway, I knew what I was doing. I brought your black behind. I brought you right on across all these folks, right on in here to this position. I knew exactly what I was doing. That's my testimony. That's my testimony. It was a blessing. It was a blessing. So because it was a blessing, I would never rub it in anybody's face. Because it was a blessing, I helped many other people get on that job, in that position. Because it was a blessing. Because it was a blessing. I'll make a boast in the Lord. I make a boast in the Lord, but I know it was no doing of my own. The Lord took that woman from Dunn, North Carolina. You would have looked at her. I used to call her Sergeant Major. You would have looked at her and you would have probably thought she was the most racist ever. But that it was, and she wasn't. That just goes to show how we look at people and assume things. But there was something in me that she felt led to not only get in that position, but help me along the way. She would always push me and give me little things. Don't you, when you go to the legal department, don't you be intimidated by none of them. You go, you tell them what you need. You tell them what it is. I mean, that woman she's, before she left here, when she left here, it broke my heart. It broke my heart when she passed away. Anyway, what y'all saying? Hey, Faithful Wisdom, hope you get a chance to catch his live on now. A lot being exposed. Oh, Lord. Who lied? Hold up. Who lied? Let me go back. Who lied? Yes, he is the guy. I'm no longer angry. I've forgiven him. He was going through a lot, grieving the loss of his love. Well, yeah, I remember he lost his father, and then not shortly after that, he lost his mother. I wish him well. Now listen, that's the keys to heaven right now, right there. That's the keys to heaven. We got to forgive, even when we don't want to. Now, I may not mess with you no more, but we got to forgive. Ms. Cruiser, what is going on? Mass church disease is going off on. No, okay. I knew this was coming. So what had happened was faithful wisdom, and thank you for coming in. Last night, when this whole picture came out, right? Yesterday, when this whole picture came out, goodness gracious, all of a sudden got dark. When the whole picture came out, St. James went live, right? Okay. St. James, let me leave it up there. It's my phone. Why is my phone looking dark? St. James went live, and he was building up, telling what happened. And Marcellus, which is mass church disease, was in the chat talking. And I'm about to run over there. So if y'all want to run over there, I'm behind you. I'm going over there. So Marcellus was in the chat, and St. James said, hey, I'm getting to that. You kind of getting ahead of my commentary. If you would just let me tell it, if you don't mind, calm some of that down. So St. James told him in the chat to calm some of that down. He said, if you want to go over to your own channel and crank it up and tell it, but, he basically tell him, don't get ahead of me and tell it in my chat. Let me do my commentary. If you feel the need to go live, okay. I don't mean no harm, but don't do that in my chat. And that is kind of distracting when you're trying to build it up and do your content and somebody in the chat just all ahead of you. You're like, okay. That's why a lot of times people don't read their comments because, and him being a content creator himself, that should have been something that he should have known not to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Respect being in this chat. Respect the chat that you're in and respect the content creator. Cruiser, when these content creators fall out, I remain neutral. Usually they make up for real. I see it all the time. Yes. Listen, Catherine, we come from around the same place. We've seen folks fall out one day, fall back in the next. It could be a matter of minutes. Don't get in it. I always say, listen, if I'm out here fighting, if you catch me fighting a bear, don't help me help the bear. Help the bear. Don't jump in my stuff. I'm doing fine by myself. Because sometimes people can get in your way and cause you to lose. I used to have a relative who used to like to fight, like physically fight. She may still do. And she used to always say, don't jump in my fights. Y'all got me killed out here. Don't jump in my fights. I'm trying to ward you off, or you done jumped in the way and this person get the best of me. Stay out the way. That's how I am. Stay out my way. Stay out my way. If I'm on one, stay out my way. Thank you. I appreciate your sugar, but stay out my way. When I'm finished and I'm out of harm's way, then you can come on in and say a little something. But stay out of that. Stay out my way. I'm working. Mama working here. Matt Church Z said he will no longer talk to St. James. I didn't even know, I didn't even know once that thing happened with St. James started being cool with Bernard Jordan. I thought that was the end of Marcellus and St. James in the first place. I saw a little bit of shade. Marcellus went over there to AT2's channel, AT2. If y'all not subscribed to him, y'all should be. AT2. I enjoy him too. I enjoy him a lot. He's shady too. He's shady breaks. He's petty too, but I love it. I love it. And he gives some other good information because he does politics and other stuff too. But I saw them over there and they was shading the heck out of St. James. So when I seen Marcellus still kind of hanging around, I was like, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because I felt like he was shading him a little bit. But, I watch and mind's my own business. And yours too. As Tracy used to say, I mind my business and yours too. Me too, Catherine. I'm not saying anything until my name is brought up. Okay? And ain't no use in nobody bringing up my name. Ain't no use in you bringing up my name. I ain't going back and forth with you. Oh, Lord, have mercy. These boys are quarreling. Well, certain people you can get upset with them and say their name and do videos on them. And that person is not going to come down. you might get a little shade here, a little shade there, but they ain't gonna give you what it is that you think that you want. Let's see. I knew that was going to happen though, Cruiser, because Jordan only started hanging around these CCs with him and Larry fell out. True. Which was a smart move. True. That's true. Hey, the Bushes. Hey, Sugar. Marcellus is about to expose what Larry sent his friend to tell on Bishop. Listen, y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Y'all remember? Y'all know I'm about to go over there. Listen, one more thing I want to tell y'all on a more positive note, and I'm gonna use my Panthers. I'll make this real quick. But y'all go on over there to Marcellus. I wish I could mod up somebody so I can drop Marcellus thing, but y'all can find him. Mad Church Disease. His name is Mad Church Disease. Is about to go down. Y'all about to keep me entertained. The church sector is about to keep me entertained through my work day all next week. All next week. But let me say this real quick. I see you laughing. Look at you laughing. Let me say this real quick as a word of encouragement, and hopefully it helps somebody. When my Panthers, when the year started, my Panthers and our quarterback Bryce Young, when they started playing, even folks that's for our team said we'll probably go. How many games you play? You play 17 or 16 now. They said we'll probably go 12-4. 4-12. We probably win 4 games. The Panthers will win 2 games. Ain't no way they're going to do anything. Their defense is not good. Their offense is not good. And they even said the young man, our quarterback, was trash. Okay? They ain't expect for us to beat nobody. And we are sitting at, 7-5 right now? Now, we a half point away from being at the top of our division. Now, our division ain't that great in the first place. But my point in telling this is this. Don't let nobody determine your outcome. Be the underdog. Stay the underdog. Get in the position of ain't nothing wrong with being the underdog. Because as the underdog, we beat them Cowboys. They didn't see it coming. We beat Green Bay. They did not see it coming. We beat the Falcons twice. They didn't see it coming. And today we beat the Rams. Our team is struggling. The Rams is at the top of their division. I think they had won 9 games. So our winning about 5 or 6 games, and we beat. They said we had a 18% chance of beating them, and they was just being friendly. What's my point? Keep pounding. What's my point? What's your point, Cruiser? Keep pounding. Keep pounding. Don't let somebody else. Sean, don't you? Sean Talks show. You're working on your channel. There are people who believe in you. There are people who don't believe in you. There are people who believe in you and support you. And check this out, sis. There's people who support you and they don't even believe in you. They just support you. But none of that matters. None of that matters. You know who you are, and you keep plugging at it. You keep trying it. You keep at it. If this is what you want to do, if you want to be a content creator and grow your page, you keep doing it as the underdog. I watched that young man out there today, Bryce Young. And is he the greatest quarterback? Absolutely not. He needs a lot of work. But that boy was out there playing his butt off. You hear me? And when he got knocked down, he got back up. And he done beat somebody else's record. The boy he done beat Cam Newton. Now everybody know Cam Newton, whether you like football or not, you know Cam Newton. He's beat Cam Newton's passing record. And he beat his passing record. And can I still tell you that they say that they still saying the Panthers need to get rid of him. He's beat Cam Newton passing record. And they're still saying that he's not a good quarterback and the Panthers need to get rid of him. And y'all know that Cam took us to a 15-1 season in 2015. We only lost one game and went to the Super Bowl, and then we lost two if you count the Super Bowl. Hey, Sticks girl, how you doing, sugar? So what I'm saying is, y'all know who you are. Know who you are. No matter what somebody else think. Look, St. James was picking at me, talking about she is determined to be a DJ. I am. One day I'm gonna be a good DJ. I might be 65, but one day I'm gonna be a good DJ. I know he was playing with me. I'm just saying. I'm just using an example. Listen, keep at it. If it's something that you enjoy and you want to do, you just keep at it. Thank you, Stiggs girl. Stiggs girl said A and Eels, and my grandson Eels too. But anyway, so I just wanted to encourage y'all in everything that I say. Not in everything that I say. I also want to be petty too. But y'all remember to live in peace on purpose. As I say this, as I'm gonna run over here to Mad Church Disease channel over here with Marcella to see him go off on St. James. I'm saying this as I say that. But y'all listen, you can watch stuff and still live in peace. And when you watching stuff, the thing this is what I do with social media now. When it starts getting to me, I'll walk away. Now, I may walk away permanently, or I may walk away for a little while. But when it starts getting to me, I'll walk away because there's nothing, and I mean nothing, worth my peace. Not numbers or numerous, not money. Nothing is worth my peace. Peace is more valuable to me than anything I have other than my kids. Peace is more valuable to me. So live in peace on purpose. That's number one. And number two, regardless what you're going through, keep pounding like the Panthers do. But regardless what you do, what you're going through, remember all is well. It's going to get better. All is well. All right. Now I'm going over here to Mad Church Disease channel and Marcella's and watch this goings down. Y'all be good. Have a good Sunday and have a blessed upcoming week. Thank y'all so much for your support. I appreciate y'all so much, more than y'all ever know.